guys back. So we're doing a coding video today of how to build a quiz. We're going to begin. I'm just going to sync it my develop just to show you. That's not the code. Something else. That's still the poll thing I'm trying to finish. Just going to take a little longer. So these are the 3 pieces of code. This doesn't seem like a lot. It isn't. It's just happens. This break could be. That's pretty better. It's just some scripts that go on each button. So what happens is that when you click it, you get a bunch of buttons. And to make a new one, all you have to do is very easily. This is one of my questions here. So let's say I want to make a new one. I go change this to 7. And this is my newest one. And obviously we'll copy the last one. So we have a question. How about we go, what's your favorite next gen console? And then we go questions. Now we have 7. You have infinite amount of questions, but there's a limit, right? Well, as many, because it's got a grid layout, so it'll try to grid layout as best as it can. But there's a point where it just can't, and I don't track how big that point is because it's different per computer. So try to keep it probably under 10, or probably more under 20. You see, if I do 20, it'll probably still work, but. So we just do 20 just to show you, and it'll be the last one. Well, I mean, right here you can see 16. So 16 is kind of like the maximum. So if we just do, I don't know, like 4 or whatever, and we just go, you, which I know technically isn't, but that's fine. PS4, Xbox One, and we just go, computer. Machine. So what's our right one? Well, let's say our right one's going to be computer, since we're using computer. Make sure that this right one is an array number. So for example, even though this is our 4th choice, it's actually our 3rd in the array, as you can see. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3. I can't remember if I actually made it so it tracks my mouse. So if it doesn't, I can't see on the screen, obviously. But yeah, so the right one's going to be 3, which is computer. But if you're expecting 3 to be Xbox One, it won't be, because that's 2. That's 1, and that's 0, as usual. This is loaded when you come in, just so you can kind of have multiple panels and find the right one. You just go call answer panel or whatever you want, and it's kind of some of that. But I mean, I'm sure you could go off and make all of this stuff that. But like for me, I was just like, I'll do a bit of both, just so people can see and go, oh, okay, that's how you do it, and then they can go off and edit it. So. This is element 6. See, we can't move this up because of how lists work. Is that there's no way in Inspector that we can actually move this up. And these answers, just saying these are all the answers. So as you see in element 0, we should have 8 questions. So we'll have 8 answers. And if we click the next one, we'll have 3 answers. 6 answers, 2 answers, 1 answer, and 7 answers, and finally 4 answers. So we'll do this like a quiz, and just go, Wii U, PS4, Xbox One, and computer. Obviously, like with buttons and all GUI, if you just do this, we're not actually clicking the button, you're just moving around your mouse like crazy. Or if you click it, then move your mouse away, it won't click. You have to click it properly. And it'll pop up. Also got a little debug thing just because I was having problems. But yeah, if you click the right one, I'll say yes. And the reason I'm not skipping to the next one is because in this demo we have a next and a back button, so you go for your own pace, and so you can keep doing questions. But if you want to skip to the next one, obviously it's pretty easy. Here's our next function. You just have it under here. It's not because this is actually under a script, so all these buttons should have access to that script. Basically, as you see we got some quiz finish, and it's actually under here, and this is our finish button. So under both of these, you could always just go, hey, go to the next. Just call like this, and that will do the next one. So if I click answer that's wrong, it'll say no and do that cool effect, and it'll say no again, obviously. It does have a slight like buff where it doesn't pop up. It's just a pass up the animation. Now we're gonna break it down of how it looks. As you see here, there's actually no buttons. That's because we actually have a prefab. You see, this is our prefab, and so what I'll actually show you is I'll show you in the scene mode oversee. So we have a few things that we're gonna show you. We got title. This title, see, we don't. There's only one page. It's not like we have 8 pages because we're just changing the content that's displayed, right? So I have an answer panel, and that is essentially where we're storing all our zeros, prefabs, like this, right? If we had another one, or copy our one, it'll do it. Now let's see when it gets to the point where it can't any longer. I could add a scroll bar, but that would require having an element inside it. It's just too confusing and not worth it. So I do have a grid layout. I'll show you a bit of this, and you do want to set cell size. Because it doesn't matter how big your object is here. It doesn't matter how big this thing is, because this thing entirely is decided by this. And spacing, but I don't care about spacing. I'm saying just chuck them next to each other. You could put like a spacing of 10 pixels or something. These don't scale just because I haven't set them up to scale. If you want to scale them, honestly, just drag them here, and you can just do. I actually may not want to scale them because of how good they are. If this scales, which it does, as you can see, everything else should scale. So I do have both buttons with scaling set up, and I do have my title without scaling set up. That's fine, it doesn't matter. And I do just have scripts. So it's pretty easy to set everything up, and I'm going to be going through how to set all this stuff up right now. So we're going to be creating a brand new project called a quiz. How about you do it without removing our last project, and then that would be pretty useful. We can call this quiz. Now this is not a 3D object, so we don't need any of these stuff that you're looking at. We can just jump straight in. We also will sync model develop program, which will open up a new model develop, and this is all linked up. And this is using the Express version. If you guys really want to have this up, so you don't have to pay for the first version to open up in Unity. You just sync, and then you can open them up, and everything's working. You know, you don't have to open up in Express or whatever. There's I'm not actually gonna probably give you the how to do it. I'll just give you the site and tell you how I set it up, and then obviously you can go from there. This is gonna be a quiz manager. I know I called a quiz thing before. We'll just call quiz manager now. Let's reload, because you have to reload every time you create an object outside of the assembler, just because of how it takes it. Now, I don't actually have this uploaded up, so I may just pop up my YouTube tutorial, just so I can kind of have a quick check. Yes, okay. Oh, today we're just setting things up, aren't we? So we're just going to create all our classes that we need. So we want quiz manager, we want quiz set, which is our individual set, and we want our final one, which is going to be button selection or select. Reload, but we won't need these, but I will record probably straight after. So now let's set up our UI. We can just kind of zoom in. We do want to select pixel perfect, so it will actually be pixel perfect. So I just spelled my thing there. Let's just actually push this over here. What do I want to do? I want to do a few things. Well, let's have a text. Go with text element at the very start, and over here. We're gonna make it forward, then we will cut it out either way. Let's see. We will just say title, since this will be replaced. And then we will boost up the size of the graphic to about here. Then we will push it down a bit more to make it a bit bigger. Five, and there we go to 5. Oh, and that's position Z. That's not that. Okay, so see, wherever we push here, we have to push it that way. So we'll push this to 12, and then we want this to be 0. So now we can just do whatever we want, and then we're just going to make sure that 1 equals 0 now. So we just get oh sorry, 0. Like that, that's pretty equal. That's a nice little trick if you guys don't know that. And we're going to rename this to be our title. And then we will be setting up a few buttons. Let's open our text and say back. Boost up the font size. Do you know it's kind of weirdly stretched? How about we just delete this and go, hey, give me a new button. Boost up this. Okay, there we go. So we have our back button, and we got our. Just gonna put yes, our next button. So very simple stuff. Next we probably want to build a panel, and we will actually name this back, and we will name this next. Now panel, I'm going to show you a trick because some people don't know this. They always set alpha too low. We actually want it to be proper alpha, and we don't, and we want it to be more of a how do we have like a this that's quite bright. So when you start this, you can see quite a bright color. Maybe you don't. Doesn't really matter. I just kind of like maybe like a nice cyan, like this. That's got a nice cyan, and then our next button will be a kind of a darkish red. This, and this will be a kind of a bluish purple, like this. So that's what our screen looks like right now. I mean, it looks a bit weird, but sure, why not? Yeah, it works. We will be having our main camera have a of white, so actually just sees white. Okay, good. And then, or maybe we make it see our nice little blue color, like this. So then we can have a look and we can, you know, definitely tell the difference. Maybe it doesn't really matter, but you know, we could do things like make the panel have no background. So that's it kind of blends in nice though. Make this text like a much wider color, with having the camera being we will push this to 5, and having the camera having a nice little same color, so you can kind of get some similarities. Maybe, or I don't really mind too much about my colors, but I will play around with this for a little bit. And then we can kind of just make this like a little lighter, like this. And we got like a nice little beginning. Now what we want to do from here is we want to actually, so that's basically it, right? You know, there's not much else. This is where we're going to set up like a 1, right? Because we have all our buttons in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a 1 thing. So what I normally do is I actually normally make the text the size of the screen. and then change it to 1, or it doesn't really matter. Yes, because we're going to change the text anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Make it a decent size already, and then I will go animation, and we go you finish or whatever. We'll create a folder called anim. We'll save it there, and we'll actually activate your scale. We'll also activate your yes, okay. So when you start off, your scale is going to be equal to 1, like here. Then we end over here, your scale is going to be equal to 0 again. So what should happen is it should go, oh, but that makes it smaller. You know, because we want to go halfway, we want to go big. Like here. And then we make this actually 2. More like actually 6. Actually 4. And maybe like 4. So as you can see, it goes, so it kind of has a zoom in, zoom out really quickly kind of thing into oblivion. So, but the point is that we start off at this. So what we actually want to do is we actually want to see we just spawn. Alright, so we want this to be equal to this. So actually what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to set this over here. To be equal to 1, 1, 1. Alright, so just a normal thing. And then from there we can increase it a bit more to like here. Okay, here we go. And we got 2 5, so maybe like 2 seconds and 5. That seems pretty good. We can turn this to officially 0 and 0. So if we have a look, just quickly over here, kind of see it fade up, then fade back, and then fade away. So if I just show you quickly, you can kind of just see like a little nice animation there. Now, we actually want to access our finish, and we want to make sure it doesn't loop. We always want to go to our text animation, and we actually want to do a few things. We'll be doing that next time, actually. Or when we set up animations for victory conditions. But right now, oh, there we go. And now we are going to actually change all these things. So let's just go text. We're going to go 0. The next is going to have its anchors properly, because we actually want it to scale the way that we want it to scale. And then backward the exact same thing. The next will have the exact same thing too. And then so with the panel, which will just be moved down a bit. And the big text will have, I guess, the same. So right now, as you see, if we make it smaller or bigger, it doesn't matter because the text will still exist. There's also going to be a point where the title just disappears because it's too small. But it normally, we probably, I mean, like that's probably could be held. We probably could fix this. What we could probably do is this brings down to 48 or 47 or 45, that would work too. And now we should be able to have a full screen, and as you get smaller it should be decent sized. It's only really when you start to get so small that it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. That should really stop. But I mean, like, that's pretty good. And then we got this too. So we got a decent range we can work with. And that's basically the setup. There's nothing else really to the setup. So thanks for watching.